Hope you have solved. Okay, let's go ahead and continuing our class from where we have stopped our discussion. Right, this is where we have stopped our discussion, where the four bearings of line AB, BC, CD, and DE were given, and you were asked to calculate the angles at point B, point C, point D, when nothing specifically mentioned, like whether it is an interior angle or exterior angle. Okay, so it means it is the interior angle what we are going to be looking at in between the lines of your traverse. Okay, so interior angle, otherwise we also call it as your included angle. So for calculating that interior angle or the included angle, so how do we go ahead? So where I am required to calculate, at point B, I want to calculate the included angle, at point C and at point D. So I'm just, whenever you are asked to calculate anything like this, included angle or any of the problems relevant to this, it may not be to this, anything, whatever you are trying to solve, first try to draw a rough sketch. Okay, already I have the sketch for the data, what is given in the problem. So, but however, whenever you are trying to solve any problem, do draw a particular rough sketch so that now it gives you a clear idea of what you are trying to solve. Okay, so this angle is what I want to calculate at B. This angle is what I am trying to calculate at C, and this is the angle what I am trying to calculate at point D. Now let me go on to write down the included angle at B is what I am writing it as, let's say, angle at point B. Now if I want to calculate the angle at point B, first let me understand what are those lines which are there at that particular point B position, that is at station B position. So what is the direction of my traverse? A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E. Okay, so direction of the traverse is what we have understood. So this is our direction of the traverse. So once we understand the direction of the traverse, then it would become easy for us to understand which is the forward line, which is the backward line. Okay, at a particular station. Now at station B, which direction is the forward direction? Direction of your line B to C is your forward direction, whereas your direction of the line AB, which we call it as your back line, or line which is in the opposite direction of your traverse. Okay. So what becomes the angle between this? Okay, at station B, what is the angle that you are going to have between the line BC and AB? Okay, this angle. So let's look at here. If I'm trying to find out the angle at point B, so angle at point B is what I can write it as the back bearing of your line AB, because if I'm trying to look at your point B, this is the position of your point B. I have this line, I have another line like this. This is BC line, this is AB line. Now, how much is this much angle if I want to calculate at point B? So that angle is nothing but the angle what your AB line is making at station B, if I need to be knowing, and the angle what your BC line is making at station B. If I know that, then the angle what your AB line is making at station B minus the angle what your BC line is making at station B, I'll be trying to subtract, and accordingly I'll be getting how much is the included angle at point B position. So when I'm talking about angle that your AB line is making at station B, AB line is at the backward direction of your traverse, in the sense it's the opposite direction to that of your traverse. So subsequent bearing what I'm going to be talking about at station B position with respect to your line AB is what we call it as back bearing of AB line minus the bearing of your line BC. Okay, so line BC, when I say it's the forward direction of your traverse, so automatically that subsequent angle what we are trying to talk about is nothing but we call it as forebearing of your BC line. Now what becomes my back bearing of the AB line? I know what is the forebearing of my AB line. Now how do we calculate the back bearing of the AB line? And I know that the forebearing of the AB line is 45 degrees 30 minutes. So whenever your forebearing is less than 180, then back bearing automatically comes out to be 180 plus your forebearing. Okay, so what I can start writing here is 180 degrees plus 45 degrees 30 minutes is what is the back bearing of your line AB minus what is the forebearing of the line BC, which is already directly given. So forebearing of the line BC is nothing but 120 degrees 15 minutes. Okay. So if I just try to calculate, this total comes out to be 225 degrees 30 minutes minus 120 degrees 15 minutes. So 225 minus 120 is 105 degrees 30 minutes minus 15 minutes is 15 minutes. Okay. So 105 degrees 15 minutes becomes the included angle at your point B. Now likewise, I can go ahead in calculating what is my included angle at point C and included angle at point D. Okay. So if I just want to go ahead in calculating, so included angle or the interior angle at point C, if I am trying to calculate, so the interior angle at point C, if I am required to calculate, let's say this is my point C position, and let me understand I have got two traversing lines or survey lines, C to B line and C to D line, where C to D line is said to be the forward direction, and the other line B to C line with respect to station C is called as your direction opposite to that of your traverse. Okay. So if I am required to calculate what is my interior angle at point C. So interior angle at point C, please look at in the sketch. Interior angle at point C is what I can write it as angle what your BC line is making with respect to station C position, that I should be knowing, and angle what your CD line is making, angle in the sense the bearing what your CD line is making with respect to station C. Okay. The angle what your BC line is making or the bearing what your BC line is making with station C is what we call it as back bearing. Okay. So once I know what is the back bearing of your line BC, then from that back bearing of the line BC, from north, the back bearing means still here for line BC. And for the line CD, which is in the traverse direction, so we say from the north, the CD line, whatever the bearing that you are talking about, is what we call it as your forebearing. Okay. So back bearing of your line BC minus forebearing of your line CD, if we are trying to calculate, even in this case, we are going to be getting the included angle at point C position. Okay. So if you are trying to calculate, you will be getting the value as interior angle at point C is nothing but back bearing of your line BC minus the forebearing of your line CD, and the back bearing of your line BC, if I want to calculate, we know what is the forebearing of the line BC. So automatically the back bearing of the line BC is nothing but 180 degrees plus 120 degrees 15 minutes, because the forebearing is less than 180. So back bearing automatically comes out to be 180 plus 120 degrees 15 minutes. So the back bearing of line BC is coming out to be 120 degrees 15 minutes. And what is my forebearing of the line CD? It is 200 degrees 30 minutes. Okay. So 180 plus 120 degrees 15 minutes comes out to be 300 degrees 15 minutes, from which I am going to subtract the forebearing of your line CD, which is 200 degrees 15 minutes. Sorry. 200 degrees 30 minutes. There is a mistake here. Okay. This is 200 degrees 30 minutes. So once you solve for it, you will be getting the value of your interior angle at point C, which is nothing but 99 degrees 45 minutes. Okay, that's how you go ahead in calculating the interior angle at point C. Now, likewise, if I am going ahead in calculating what is the interior angle at point D position. Okay, so how do we calculate the interior angle at point D position? This is my point D, let's say. At the station D position, I have two survey lines existing going from D to E and the other one coming from C to D. D to E direction is the forward direction, whereas here C to D with respect to station D, when I am talking about, is what I call it as your opposite direction. Okay. And what I am required to calculate is this angle between your line CD and line DE, with respect to station D position. So at that point, if I'm required to calculate the interior angle, so let's first understand what is my reference axis direction. This is my reference north, reference south, west, east. So whenever you are trying to talk about the bearing of your two lines which are intersecting at joint D, at station D. So what are those two lines which I am looking at? DE line and your CD line. Okay. So DE line is said to be the forward direction of the traverse. So automatically for the DE line, which bearing we will talk about? It's the 4 bearing. And when it comes to your CD line was onto the back of your station D, so which we call it as the opposite direction of your traverse, because if I need to look at my CD line, I have to look back from your station D. So it means that the direction of my observation is in the opposite direction to your traverse. So the bearing for that CD line, what I am going to be looking at with respect to station D is what we call it as back bearing of line CD. Okay, I repeat, it's nothing but we call it as your back bearing of the line CD. Okay, so now let's go ahead in writing down what I have here. So at station D, if I want to calculate what is my included angle, this I am roughly calculating here. The fair data is anyhow there in the next page. Now, at point D position, if I am required to calculate the interior angle, so let's just try to understand what is that interior angle at point D means. That means this angle. Okay, so can I directly write down this angle with respect to any data what is available to me? Yes, I can try to write as the back bearing of this line CD plus this remaining angle. But what is this remaining angle? This remaining angle is nothing but with respect to DE line, what I am trying to talk about. So this portion of the included angle value, what I am supposed to be getting is nothing but your forebearing of the line DE means this much. Okay, from north till here, that is till your DE line in the clockwise direction. That is what we call it as the forebearing of the line DE, which is already known to you. The data of that forebearing of the line DE is already known to you. And the total of one complete revolution is 360 degrees. So from that 360 degrees, if I can subtract the forebearing of the line DE, then I'll get this portion of the angle. Let's say this is something theta1. And anyhow, back bearing of the line CD is something what I can calculate. So that back bearing of the line CD is something theta2. So theta1 plus theta2 gives me what is the included angle at point D position. That's one way. Or the other way is making use of the bearings of the back bearing of CD line and the forebearing of your DE line. By making use of those two data, I'll first try to calculate the exterior angle what is made about your station D between those two lines. Exterior angle we can get, and interior angle is nothing but 360 degrees minus exterior angle. Whatever the way you do, you will be getting the same value. Okay, so I am directly writing down my interior angle. Interior angle at D, it's nothing but the back bearing of CD line, which is nothing but theta2 is what I have represented in my sketch. Okay, so earlier I was trying to talk about this angle. Where did that representation go? Okay, yeah, theta2, which I was trying to write it as the back bearing of your line CD. And what will become my theta1 angle in order to completely get the interior angle at point D? So theta1 is nothing but, yeah, plus theta1 is nothing but 360 degrees minus the forebearing of DE line. Okay, so back bearing of CD line, AB, BC, CD, yeah, CD line, yeah, back bearing of CD line if I am required to calculate. I know the forebearing of CD line, which is 200 degrees 30 minutes, which is greater than 180 degrees. So automatically what becomes my back bearing? 200 degrees 30 minutes minus 180. So the back bearing of CD line is 200 degrees, 30 minutes minus 180 degrees is back bearing of CD line, plus 360 degrees minus the forebearing of your DE line. Forebearing of the DE line is given as 280 degrees, 45 minutes. So if you go on to solve this, 200 degrees 30 minutes minus 180 degrees is 20 degrees 30 minutes, and 380 30 minus 280 45, yeah, it comes out to be 99 degrees 45 minutes if my calculation is correct. Okay, so that's how we go ahead in calculating the included angle at your point D. So your calculations are yeah, so that's what the value which I am going to be getting. So either I can directly go on to write down the interior angle, or from the bearings from my observation, I'll try to first calculate the exterior angle, and then we go on to define how much is the interior angle between those two lines at station D position. So how are we? Yeah. So ultimately, how are we trying to calculate the angles between two lines if the bearings of those two lines are known? Means, so we are observing. First, what we start doing is we'll try to understand what are the bearings of those respective lines that are forming your closed traverse. It need not be the lines which are completely forming the closed traverse. Even in the case of your previous problem, we were trying to solve the included angle in the case of your open traverse also. So it need not be always that it has to be a closed traverse for calculating the included angle. So whenever you have two lines at a particular station represented, so included angle between those two lines we can try to calculate, irrespective it is a closed traverse or open traverse. So it is possible to calculate the included angles which can be used for plotting the traverse. So once we know the included angles between those lines, then while mapping the data, so it would become easy for us to draw that particular traverse. And with respect to the traverse of various survey lines, you can try to take the offsets of various objects, and you can try to accordingly map those data also. Now, at the station where two survey lines meet, it means two angles are formed there. So it could be either an exterior angle or it could be an either interior angle. So what does it mean? Let's say, for example, I have some survey station A at which you have two lines existing. This is survey line AB, and let's say this is survey line AC. So at this survey station A, where you have two survey lines intersecting each other, so you will have two different types of angles which are getting formed about this particular survey station. This is, let's say, I'm calling it as exterior angle, and this one is what I am calling it as your interior angle. So at any particular station where your two survey lines are meeting, so obviously we'll come across with what is called as one interior angle and one exterior angle. So according to your requirement, what is that you are interested in calculating, you can try to calculate that, because always you may not be asked to calculate only the angle at point B, in sense interior angle at point B or included angle at that particular point. So you would be asked sometimes also to calculate what is the exterior angle. Okay, so in such case you should also be able to know how to calculate the exterior angle. So in general, whenever we talk about the calculation of the interior angles, most of the times the interior angle, whatever you calculate, in general I am talking about, but it's not very particular that always you will come across with this same condition. Okay, in general, the interior angle, whatever you calculate, comes out to be less than 180 degrees. But it need not be true that always it is less than 180 degrees. There could be some particular case, like say a traverse something like this. If I am looking at, okay, say I have some traverse which I am trying to this is my traverse what I am talking about. Let's say this is station A, station B, station C, station D, station E, and station F. Now, if you look at the interior angle at B, at A, at B, at C, at D, and at F are less than 180 degrees, but the interior angle what you have at E is greater than 180 degrees. So it is not always compulsory that your interior angle has to be less than 180, but in general, most of the cases you will come across with the condition that interior angles are going to be less than 180 degrees. Okay. So how do we calculate your interior angle in between any two survey lines if you are looking at? So already we have started talking about solving some problem. So in similar lines, let's say for example, if we are looking at this station A, where you have two survey lines AB and EA, where we are saying that E to A to B is what is your forward direction. Okay, but at station A, when you are looking at the bearing of the line E to A becomes what is called as the back bearing, and the bearing of the line A to B becomes what is called as your forebearing. So in the process of writing down what is the included angle at A, so this much angle is nothing but from the north if I am trying to define. So whatever the angle that I want to find out is nothing but this angle, which I am writing it as your forebearing of AB line minus this angle. Now, what is this angle which I am representing with respect to your EA line with the position of station A? So, which we call it as your back bearing of line EA. Okay, so from forebearing of line AB, if I subtract the back bearing of your line EA, then I'll be getting what is the included angle at your point A. So likewise, at about any other point, if you are interested in calculating, so you can do that and getting your included angle. So this particular case also we have come across in the earlier problem. So sometimes it may not be so easy for you to directly calculate the interior angle. From the discussion or from calculation, you might be getting what is called as your exterior angle. So from that known exterior angle, you can go on to calculate what is your interior angle of that particular traverse, about that particular station position. While calculating the interior or included angles, it is strongly recommended that a rough sketch of the traverse must be drawn for the purpose of calculating the interior angles or bearings from included angles. Okay, so if you are required to calculate anytime the included angles from the given bearings data of the survey lines, you can do that, but it would make your life easy if you can draw a rough sketch of that particular traverse from the data what is given and go ahead in solving your problem. So it's not that always bearings will be given and you will be required to calculate the included angles. Sometimes included angles might be given in that particular traverse and you will be required to go ahead in calculating your bearings of that particular survey lines. Okay, it could be the forebearing of those lines or back bearing of those particular lines. At any survey station, the next point. Okay, so at any survey station, generally the forebearing of one line and the back bearing of another line are measured, because whenever you are trying to look at any particular survey station, one line at that survey station is in the forward direction of the traverse, whereas the other line is in the backward, we say it is in the reverse direction of your traverse. So at any particular station, whenever you are looking at your two lines, whatever are represented, the two survey lines which are represented with respect to that survey station, the bearings of those two survey lines would be in general. For one survey line, you will be talking in terms of forebearing. Another survey line, you will be talking in terms of your back bearing. This is every time what you are going to be coming across with. So have it in your mind. Whenever you are trying to look at a particular traverse, where at some station you have two survey lines existing. So out of those two survey lines, with respect to this station position, for one survey line we talk the bearing as forebearing. Another survey line we talk the bearing as your back bearing. So which survey line I will be calling it as forebearing, for which survey line I will be talking in terms of the back bearing means the survey line which is in the direction of the traverse, you will talk for it the forebearing. The other survey line you will talk what is called as your back bearing. Then the difference of those two bearings, the difference of your forebearing and back bearing, or back bearing and forebearing, the difference of those two bearings will give you what is called as either an interior angle or either an exterior angle. Okay. So from the problem what we have solved or about to solve, you will be understanding these statements, whatever I am trying to talk about. Okay, let's now go ahead in solving or taking up another problem. Let's look at it to solve. So we are given with what is called as the closed traverse. Okay, so we are given with some closed traverse, and in that closed traverse, you have the traverse with the 5 lines indicated. Traverse going from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and E to A. So what is my forward direction of the traverse? It's from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and E to A is my forward direction of the traverse. And the 4 bearings of those particular survey lines are given. Okay, so 4 bearing of line AB is given, BC is given, CD is given, DE is given, and EA is given. So let me also calculate what are the back bearings of these lines, because whenever I am required to calculate the interior angles, obviously I am coming across with the back bearing of each and every line. Okay, so let me also directly calculate what are my back bearings of these particular lines. So if I am directly calculating the back bearing of these lines, yeah. So what is the 4 bearing of the line AB? 4 bearing of the line AB is 65 degrees. So automatically the back bearing is 65 degrees plus 180 degrees, because the 4 bearing of the line AB is less than 180. So automatically the back bearing is 65 plus 180. So 65 plus 180, if I am writing down, it comes out to be 245 degrees. Okay. Next, back bearing of line BC. So what becomes my back bearing of line BC? 4 bearing of line BC is 125 degrees 30 minutes, which is less than 180. So back bearing is nothing but 125 degrees 30 minutes plus 180. Yeah. So it comes out to be 305 degrees 30 minutes is the back bearing of line BC. Likewise, back bearing of line CD. If I want to calculate, the 4 bearing of line CD is given as 200 degrees, which is greater than 180. So automatically the back bearing of line CD is 200 degrees minus 180 degrees, which is equal to 20 degrees. Next, likewise, the back bearing, 4 bearing of line DE is given as 265 degrees 15 minutes. So back bearing of the line DE is 265 degrees 15 minutes minus 180 degrees. So it's nothing but 85 degrees 15 minutes. Next, likewise, 4 bearing of the line EA is given as 330 degrees. Then the back bearing is nothing but 330 degrees minus 180 degrees. So it is 150 degrees. So 4 bearings of all the lines of the traverse are known. Back bearings of all the lines of the traverse are known. Next, we should go on to construct the rough sketch of your traverse. By making use of that rough sketch of that particular traverse, we can go on to calculate your included angles at each and every individual station. Okay, at station A, station B, station C, station D, station E. Okay, so I can calculate the interior angles. Right. So these are your data. I hope the same values we have got: 245, 305, 30, 20, 85, 15, and 150. Right. So this is the data what we have calculated. That's the back bearing of all those respective lines we have calculated. So that it is going to be useful for us in constructing the rough sketch of your traverse. And once the rough sketch of the traverse is known, then we can easily go ahead in calculating the interior angles. Okay. So this is my rough sketch of that particular traverse, what we were trying to look at. If you want to understand more clearly, just look at it. A to B, the 4 bearing is 65 degrees. Okay. That is this angle, 65 degrees. And for the EA line, which we are calling it as the back bearing of that line EA. So back bearing of the line EA, yeah, it is 150 degrees. So that's what this angle, which we are indicating it as from the north. This angle, what is indicated here, is nothing but the back bearing of your line EA. So likewise, for all the other stations, we are trying to look at. Now, if I am going ahead in calculating what is my interior angle at station A, station B, station C, station D, and station E, so I can go ahead in doing that. So what becomes my interior angle at station A? This interior angle at station A, if I want to write down, so the interior angle at station A is nothing but, I can write it as the back bearing of your line EA minus the 4 bearing of your line AB. Okay, so the back bearing of line EA is 150 degrees minus the 4 bearing of your line AB is 65 degrees. So 150 degrees minus 65 degrees would give you the value which is 85 degrees, if I am correct. Okay, so that's my interior angle at point B. Now, likewise, let me go ahead in calculating the interior angle at point B. At point A, interior angle is 85 degrees. So at point B, if I want to write down the interior angle at point B position, so we have already discussed earlier in some statements that at any point, if you are trying to calculate the angle between two survey lines, so one angle what we'll be looking at for one survey line is the forebearing, and the other bearing what we are looking at for the other line is called as the back bearing. That is for sure. And the difference of those two angles, whenever you are trying to write down, the difference of those two lines will come out to be either called as interior angle or the exterior angle. This is also some other point what you should be understanding, right? Now let's look at here. So if I am interested in calculating what is this internal angle between two survey lines that are existing at station B. What are those two survey lines? Survey line going from B to C, survey line existing from A to B, coming from A to B at station B position. And the bearing corresponding to the survey line A to B, if I am writing down, that's nothing but we call it as the back bearing of your line AB, because AB line is in the backward direction to your station B. Okay, so obviously for the AB line, the angle what I will be looking at with respect to station B position is the back bearing of line AB, which is 245 degrees minus the forebearing of your line BC, which is 125 degrees 30 minutes. So your internal angle at point B is nothing but back bearing of line AB minus forebearing of line BC. See, I'm not writing all that steps now. Back bearing of line AB minus forebearing of the line BC and so on. Anyhow, in the next slides, you have them very clearly mentioned. So I'm directly calculating them, assuming that you are understanding what I'm speaking. So 245 degrees minus 125 degrees 30 minutes comes out to be hopefully 119 degrees 30 minutes. Okay, that's going to be your interior angle at point B. Now, likewise, interior angle at point C, if I want to calculate. So that interior angle at point C is nothing but this angle. So what is this angle equal to? This angle, what I am going to have at station B between those two survey lines C to D and survey line coming from B to C. So further survey line coming from B to C, the bearing what I am going to be talking about with respect to station C. So what is that bearing to be called as for this particular line? So that bearing is nothing but we call it as the back bearing, because BC line is onto the back side of, if I need to look at my BC line from station C, I have to look back. Okay, so that is in the opposite direction of your traverse. So automatically, so with respect to station C, BC line bearing what we are trying to write down is the back bearing. Okay, so my interior angle at point C is nothing but it is equal to this angle minus the angle what I am going to be representing in the forward direction with respect to your CD line. Okay, so back bearing of line BC, that is 305 degrees 30 minutes minus the forebearing of your line CD, which is 200 degrees. So if I calculate the interior angle at point C, I'll be getting it as 105 degrees 30 minutes. Okay. Next, likewise, for finding out the interior angle at point D position. So what becomes my interior angle at point D position? Interior angle at point D position is equal to, see it carefully. So interior angle at point D position, if I want to calculate, will it come out to be like this? This angle. So when I say this angle, so from the north, the bearing of your line D to E, which is in the forward direction of the traverse. So automatically that's a forebearing what I am trying to write down here. So forebearing of D this angle if I am looking at. What is this angle to be called as for the line coming from C to D at station D? So that's nothing but the back bearing of CD line. Okay. So from this, if I subtract the forebearing of line DE and back bearing of the line CD, what is that angle I am getting? I am getting the angle between these two lines like this. This angle I am trying to get. What is this angle? Okay. So let me look at here. This is the station D. Please look into the top right corner. This is your CD line. Something like this is your DE line. Now what angle I am trying to get from the expression what I represented? It's the exterior angle. It's not the interior angle. Okay. So I have to be very careful. I cannot directly simply write it as angle D, because angle D in general represents what is called as an interior angle. So whatever I am trying to calculate from my expression which I represented, it is giving me what is called as exterior angle. Then what becomes my interior angle at D? Interior angle at D is nothing but it is equal to 360 degrees minus the exterior angle what I am going to be getting. Okay. So let me calculate first what is the exterior angle that I am getting. So exterior angle at point D is nothing but forebearing of line DE. What is the forebearing of line DE? 206 degrees, 265 degrees, 15 minutes minus the back bearing of line CD, which is 20 degrees. So what becomes my exterior angle at point D? 265 degrees, 15 minutes minus 20 degrees. So exterior angle, what I am trying to calculate is nothing but 245 degrees, 15 minutes. Once the exterior angle is known, then what becomes my interior angle at point D? So interior angle at point D is equal to 360 degrees minus 245 degrees, 15 minutes. Okay. So from which you will be getting the interior angle at point D to be 114 degrees, 45 minutes. Okay. This value comes out to be 114 degrees, 45 minutes. Please do cross check my values what I have calculated. Now in the similar way, with respect to station E position, I'll be going ahead in calculating my interior angle. So even here in the case of your station E, so if I'm directly subtracting the bearings of two lines, one considered to be the forebearing, other considered to be the back bearing, what angle I am going to be getting once again here in the case of your station E is also your exterior angle. So once again, 360 minus exterior angle gives you what is called as your forebearing. It's the interior angle. Okay, 360 degrees minus exterior gives you what is the interior angle. Okay, so please do solve it for the rest part of that station E, and you can check your values what you are getting. Okay, so at station A we got the included angle as 85 degrees. Yeah, that's correct from the calculation. At station B the included angle what we have got is 119 degrees 30 minutes. Yeah, it's correct. At station C, the interior angle, we got it as 105 degrees 30 minutes. Yeah, it is correct. And at station D, the interior angle, what we have got is 104 degrees 45 minutes. Sorry, 114 degrees 45 minutes. Yeah, it is correct. And likewise, if you try to calculate what is the interior angle with respect to station E position, you will be getting the value as 115 degrees 15 minutes. So please do solve for that particular interior angle at your station E position. So next, likewise, you are given with some other data of a traverse, what is carried out. The bearings of the traverse are given. But here in the case of your quadrantal bearings, the data, whatever you have for those survey lines are given in terms of the quadrantal bearings. Okay. Earlier, the data of that particular traverse was given in whole circle bearing representation, but here in the case, it is given in quadrantal bearing system. See, though the data is given in quadrantal bearing, if you want, convert the given quadrantal bearing data into whole circle bearing, and then solve the problem as like what we have done earlier. That is one way. I repeat, if the quadrantal bearing data is given, and from that quadrantal data, convert the data into the whole circle bearing, and then solve the problem as like what we have done earlier. No, sir, I am not interested in converting into whole circle bearing and solving it. Then what to do? We can still go ahead in solving it with the same quadrantal bearing data, what is that we have with us. Because quadrantal bearing is nothing but it's a representation of the angle with respect to each of the survey lines. So we do understand how much angle each of those survey lines makes with respect to that reference direction. So we will try to draw the rough sketch, and in that rough sketch we'll indicate all those angles. That's it. Okay, so let's not worry much about whether the data is given in whole circle bearing system or quadrantal bearing system. It doesn't matter at all to solve your to find out your interior angle. So what is asked in the problem? The angles observed with a surveyor compass in traversing the lines AB, BC, CD, DE, and EF are as given below. Okay, it said only to EF. It means that it's not, the traverse is not coming back from E to A. So the type of traverse here it is open traverse. Okay. So compute the included angles and show them. Okay. We are required to calculate the included angles wherever you have two survey lines meeting at a particular survey station. Okay. So there you try to calculate your included angles. So for that, first, what is the data that is given? Four bearings of that survey lines are given. So let me go on to calculate what are your back bearings of those survey lines. So how do we calculate the back bearings of those survey lines? In the case of quadrantal bearing, it is very easy for us to write down the back bearings of those respective survey lines, because what do? North is replaced with south and east is replaced with west, and vice versa. North with south or south with north, and east with west and west with east. That's it. Yeah. Four bearing of the line AB is given as north 55 degrees 30 minutes east. Then what becomes the back bearing of line AB? North is replaced with south. Angle is same 55 degrees 30 minutes, and east is to be replaced with west. That's it. Next, four bearing of line BC is given as south 63 degrees 30 minutes towards east. Then what is the back bearing? South replaced with north. Angle is same 63 degrees 30 minutes, and east is replaced with west. Next, four bearing of line CD is north 70 degrees towards east. So back bearing is north replaced with south. Angle is same 70 degrees, and 0 minutes is simply what I can eliminate. I need not specifically represent, or I can even represent, doesn't matter. And east is replaced with west. Next, four bearing of line DE is given. Back bearing of the line DE is south to be replaced with north. Angle is 45 degrees 30 minutes. East to be replaced with west. Okay. Next, four bearing of line EF is given. The back bearing of line EF is nothing but north to be replaced with south. Angle 72 degrees 15 minutes. East to be replaced with west. Okay. So four bearings of all those lines is anyhow given in the problem, and back bearings of all those lines is what we have calculated. Once four bearing and back bearing of all those lines are known, then simply we can go ahead in drawing a rough sketch for calculating the included angle between each of those particular lines intersecting or meeting at stations. Okay, so we know the four bearings of all those respective lines which are given for that traverse, and back bearings of all those respective lines are given, we have calculated. So now go on to represent your rough sketch for survey line going from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and E to F with respect to your four bearing and back bearing data, whatever you have calculated. So once the four bearing, back bearing data are known, once you start representing your rough sketch, sir, how to draw the rough sketch? Please do not worry much about it. See the angle for each of that lines, whatever you are required to be representing at each station. First, represent your north, south, east, west directions, and look at what is the bearing given. Okay, I'll just try to draw that rough sketch for one or two stations. Now, what is the four bearing of line AB? From north towards east, the angle is 55 degrees 30 minutes. Okay. So angle has to be represented in between north and east, something How much is this angle? This should be 55 degrees 30 minutes. Okay. So my survey line AB is done. So at station A, I don't have any other survey line indicated. So I'll move on to your survey lines existing at station B. So for that, once again at station B, let me indicate your reference coordinate directions, north, south, east, west. Right. Now at station B, I have two survey lines existing. One is survey line coming from A towards B, other is survey line going from B towards C. Okay. So B to C is the forward direction of my traverse, whereas your A to B is what is the reverse direction of my traverse. In the sense, with respect to station B, if I am looking at my line AB, it's the backward direction what I am looking at. Okay. So for that line BA, the corresponding bearing, whatever you have already, we have calculated. So what is that? Yeah, back bearing of line BA, south to west, 55 degrees, 30 minutes. So south to west means it is this. Angle is 55 degrees, 30 minutes. Okay. And next, B to C line. B to C line is said to be the forward direction. So forebearing of line B to C is south 63 degrees 30 minutes towards east. South to east, I should be drawing another line. What is that angle from south to east it is making? So it is nothing but 63 degrees 30 minutes. Okay, so that's how we go on to construct the rough sketch of your traverse. Once you have the rough sketch of your traverse, then how do we calculate the included angles? Here in this case, just by looking at them, we are able to easily write down the included angles, because I need not write many steps also. But as per problem solving procedure, you have to write, though you know directly what is the angle made between those two lines easily, but still you are required to write all your steps that comes in the process of solving the problem. Yeah, angle at B, that's nothing but the interior angle at B is what I can write it as. Look at here, the forebearing of BC line plus back bearing of AB line. Sir, earlier when you were trying to talk about the interior angle between two lines, you said it's nothing but the difference of either forebearing and back bearing of those two respective lines, or back bearing of one line and the forebearing of the other line, you said. But here you are trying to add. Why? That statement what we made was applicable for whole circle bearing system. But here, from our basic trigonometry or from our basic common sense itself, we understand that how much is my interior angle at point B between these two lines? Between these two lines, what is this interior angle means? That's nothing but this angle plus this angle. Now, what is this angle to be represented as? This angle to be represented as the forebearing of your line BC, and this angle to be represented as your back bearing of your line AB. So, forebearing of my line BC. Now, only I am picking the angle, not the directions. Directions are not essential to me. Already I have represented them. So, this is 63 degrees 30 minutes plus this is 55 degrees 30 minutes. So what is this value coming out to be? 60 plus 50, 110. Okay, 108. Yeah, 109 degrees is the interior angle at B. Now likewise, interior angle at point C, at station C, if I am writing down. So what is this interior angle at station C? That's nothing but this much angle plus this much angle. So already we know that this much angle means 70 degrees. This much angle means 63 degrees 30 minutes. But interior angle at C is what I'll write it as. C to D is the forward direction. So forebearing of CD line plus the back bearing of BC line. So forebearing of CD line is 70 degrees. Back bearing of BC line is 63 degrees 30 minutes. So it comes out to be 133 degrees 30 minutes is the interior angle at point C. Now likewise, interior angle at point D, if I want to calculate, that's nothing but 70 degrees plus 45 degrees 30 minutes. which comes out to be 115 degrees 30 minutes. Likewise, interior angle at point E comes out to be 45 degrees 30 minutes plus 72 degrees 15 minutes, which is 117 degrees 45 minutes. Okay, so this case, it's relatively easy for us to solve that problem. Okay. Next, you are given with some other problem where you are given with some forebearing and back bearing of that particular problem, and you are asked to calculate the interior angle of that particular traverse. And if you look at here, it's basically a closed traverse, because traverse is starting from station A and ending with the station A. Okay, A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A, we are coming back. So for that closed traverse, forebearings and back bearings of all the lines are known. You are required to calculate the interior angles at all those respective stations. At station A, station B, station C, and station D. So please do solve it, and in the process of solving it, understand what difficulties you would come across. Because here in the case, we may not directly look at it and write down, but I would ask you to go through the problem statement very clearly, draw the rough sketch, and after drawing the rough sketch, represent all the data, whatever you have from the problem, like back bearings or fore bearings, whatever data you have from that particular problem, represent all that data. Once you represent all that data, then from simple geometry and trigonometric angles, whatever you are representing, from simple geometry, you can look at and you can start writing down what is my interior angle at each of that particular station. Okay, so please do solve it and cross verify with what is that you have got. And in case if you have any doubt whether my interior angles, what I have calculated, whether they are correct or not. So in case of a closed traverse, I repeat, in case of a closed traverse, we have already seen that sum of all the interior angles in that particular closed traverse is nothing but it is equal to, earlier if I am correct, sum of interior angles in closed traverse. This is applicable, not in the case of your open traverse. Okay, so we said it's nothing but it is equal to, if I am correct, I wrote it as n minus 2 into 180 degrees, where n indicates number of sides in that particular polygon which is getting formed, polygon of that particular closed traverse. Here you have 4 sides. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 into 180 is 360 degrees. Sir, what is this expression which is given here then? See, both are one and the same. Look at these two expressions. Both are one and same. But here in this case, it is 90 degrees. What is given? What is represented? What I have here represented as 180 degrees. Now, if you look at the term inside this 2n minus 4, 2 can be taken common. If I take 2 common out, 2 into 90 degrees is 180. And what I'll have inside the bracket is n minus 2. That's what I wrote there. Okay. So let's not worry about what expression I wrote, what expression is there. Both are one and the same expressions. And you can try to cross verify. It's a kind of a cross check. That is, summation of all the internal angles of that closed traverse should be equal to n minus 2 into 180 degrees. If you check it first, add all of those interior angles which you have calculated, whether that value is satisfying the criteria of the condition, that is n minus 2 into 180 or not. If it is not satisfying, somewhere the interior angle what you have calculated is not correct. So you have to go back and cross verify how you, that so-called interior angles that you have calculated. Okay. So another problem what is given for which you can practice to solve that interior angles. Okay. Next topic, magnetic declination. Already in the first or second class of this compass surveying itself, I have introduced this word, what is called as this magnetic declination. We said magnetic declination is nothing but it is the angle made between your survey line, or the difference of the angle or difference of your bearings what you have with respect to the survey line when the bearing is measured with true meridian as reference and when the bearing is measured with magnetic meridian as your reference. Okay, so the magnetic declination, how do we define it? Means the horizontal angle between the magnetic meridian and your true meridian. So that horizontal angle made between your magnetic meridian and true meridian. So that horizontal angle is what we call it as your magnetic declination. And this magnetic declination, what we are talking about, sometimes could be towards your west, or sometimes could be towards your east. That's so-called magnetic declination. I'll show you the picture what I am referring to. Okay, yeah, look at here. This is the true north direction, which is representing your true meridian, and MN indicates your magnetic north direction, which is representing your magnetic meridian. Okay, so the angle made by your magnetic meridian with respect to your true meridian. So this angle, I repeat, the angle made by your magnetic meridian with respect to your true meridian, that angle is what I will call it as your declination. And that declination, whatever you are looking at, is towards your east in this case. Okay, so that declination is what we call it as declination east. Okay, in case the angle made by your magnetic meridian, with respect to your true meridian. So from your true meridian, magnetic meridian is in the west direction now. Okay, so that difference in angle, that difference in the position of those two meridians is what I am writing it as some angle theta, and that angle theta here in this case is what we call it as declination towards your west, because from the reference is standard. What is the standard direction? Always your true meridian direction is the standard direction. Okay, but from the true meridian direction, at what inclination your magnetic meridian direction is getting deviated with? By what angle it is getting deviated with? So that angle is what we are calling it as declination, and the deviation of your magnetic north or your magnetic meridian, if it is towards east, we call it as your declination east. If it is towards west, we call it as your declination west. Okay. If you are required to determine the true bearing and the magnetic bearing values, in case if the declination is given, let's say for example, if true bearing is to be calculated from the known magnetic bearing or magnetic bearing value and your magnetic declination data, or if magnetic bearing is to be calculated when true bearing and magnetic declination data is given. So I can calculate true bearing from the given magnetic bearing data and declination data, or I can calculate magnetic bearing value for a particular line when true bearing data and declination data is given to us. Okay, so how do we do that? So if I want to do that, just try to understand these sign conventions, what we will certainly follow. So what is that I am saying? If I am required to calculate the true bearing is nothing but it is equal to magnetic bearing plus or minus, this is very important, plus or minus declination. Now, when should I use plus? When should I use minus? Okay. When should I use plus? When should I use minus means, in case if your declination is towards east, I repeat, in case if the declination is towards east, then that subsequent true bearing I have to calculate by adding your declination term. In case if that magnetic declination is towards your west, then I have to subtract the declination term from magnetic bearing to get what is your true bearing. Sir, I am slightly confused. Please try to explain us little more in detail. Look at this sketch once. Let's say this is some point A. I have some survey line AB like this. And let's say my true meridian direction is something this, which I am writing it as my true north. And the magnetic meridian direction is something like this, which I am writing it as, let's say, my magnetic north. Okay. The angle made, or the horizontal angle between this magnetic north and your true north, this angle we are calling it as your declination. Let me say it is something theta. And this declination angle is towards your east now. Now let's say I want to get what is the true bearing of line AB. Now, how do I write down what is the true bearing of the line AB means? True bearing of that line AB is nothing but the angle made by that line AB from your true north. Okay, so this angle is what we write it as your true bearing. Now, what is the true bearing of the line AB equal to? Look at here. Can I write this true bearing of the line AB as magnetic bearing of the line AB plus this so much declination what I have? Okay, so magnetic bearing of line AB plus declination from simple geometry. That's what I understand. Okay, so magnetic bearing, how do we represent? From your magnetic north, how much is that angle at which your AB line is there? If magnetic bearing data of that line AB is known and your declination value of that particular true line, from the direction of your magnetic north to that of your true north, how much is the declination angle? If these two values are known, that's the magnetic bearing of line AB and declination between those two, true north and magnetic north direction. What is the declination angle? If that is known, then sum of these two values gives you what is the true bearing of line AB. Okay, in the other way, let's say this is my survey line again. I'm just taking the same example. Survey line AB at station A. This is the direction of my true north. Let's say this is the direction of my magnetic north, which I have. Earlier, magnetic north was towards your east from the true north. Now, in this case, my magnetic north is towards west from your true north. Our magnetic meridian is towards west from your true north. I am calling this angle what your magnetic meridian is making with your true meridian direction. So that is nothing but it is once again declination. Now, the problem is same. I want to find out what is the true bearing of my AB line. So true bearing of my AB line is equal to, once again, magnetic bearing of AB line. So what does that magnetic bearing of AB line means? From the magnetic north. Okay, so from the magnetic north, at what angle of inclination your survey line AB is there. Okay, this angle is what I am writing it as your magnetic bearing of line AB. Yeah. So what is that I want to calculate? What is my angle made by my survey line AB with respect to your true bearing? Sir, from your true meridian direction. That's nothing but from your true north, at what angle of inclination your survey line AB is there. This true bearing is what I want to calculate. So this true bearing is nothing but, can I write it as magnetic bearing minus this declination angle? Obviously from geometry. So magnetic bearing of line AB minus declination. Okay. So go back to the statement that I made earlier. In case if true bearing is to be calculated when magnetic bearing and declination data is given, what did we say? When to use plus symbol, when to use minus symbol. Plus symbol has to be used in case if your magnetic declination is towards east. That means this case. You can see here, magnetic declination is towards your east direction. This I can specifically write it as this magnetic declination angle as theta E, which means it's the declination towards east. So whenever your declination is towards east, if true bearing is to be calculated, you will use plus symbol. When your declination is towards west, and if you are looking at calculating your true bearing, then we'll use minus symbol. The vice versa. Now, what is the vice versa? Declination is towards east. But what data is given me in my problem is true bearing of the line is given, declination of the line, declination of those two true north and magnetic north directions are given. So from this, what is my magnetic bearing? Magnetic bearing of AB is equal to true bearing of AB. Declination goes on to the left, so minus declination. Okay, so when true bearing and declination is known, and where that declination is towards east, so in such case, how do we calculate the magnetic bearing of that line? Means it's true bearing of that line minus the declination. When coming on to the other case, that is this case, if magnetic bearing is what I want to calculate, that's nothing but it is true bearing minus declination goes on to the other side, it becomes plus declination. Okay, so when true bearing data is known and declination is known, and that too declination is towards your west, okay, magnetic declination angle is towards west, then in such case magnetic bearing is calculated like this. Okay, so don't blindly remember, just draw that or represent that geometry, and from that itself you will be understanding whether I should add, whether I should subtract, or what should I do. You will be very clearly understanding it. So for your sake, to get a proper acquaintance in solving it, you have a couple of problem statements given here. So I expect you to solve them and understand from the given true bearing how to calculate your magnetic bearing based on the given declination, or from the magnetic bearing how to calculate your true bearing from the given magnetic declination. Or sometimes you might be given with your true bearing and magnetic bearing data and you will be asked to calculate your declination. So that also you can still do. Okay, so please do solve these cases. You have a couple of problems which are given here, so please do solve it, and we'll continue our discussion in the next class with the next topic, that is local attraction.